Hello, so good to see you. So, if you're getting close to retirement, you've probably heard some of those versions of this. Do it now while you're still fit and healthy and don't waste your go go years. And here's the thing for us, it's not a saying anymore. We actually feel it. Nothing crazy or dramatic. We're still in very good shape, but we're noticing we're getting tired quicker. Like at night, the energy level is not quite the same as a few years ago. So, this is what we'd like to talk about today. So, let's get into it.
And if you're new here, I'm Peter.
And I'm Natalie.
We're not retired yet, and we're in our late 50s, but we're trying to figure out whether we can actually retire in 2027. We're looking at everything from retirement budgets to eventually slow travel with house sitting. Our goal is part home, part roam life while keeping our home base. Okay?
Correct. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for anyway.
Be nice.
So, to get back to that question, the topic today is, are we scared of wasting our good years? The pressure is building. It's not in our head. Like, we can feel that we're not invincible anymore, and we're not just making things up. We caught ourselves actually in the last few weeks and the last few months wanting to pull the trigger real bad on the retiring. Because of that also, I guess we're feeling this sentiment of urgency. And instead of waiting for the retirement plan to actually be ready, we're just going, maybe we should do this now. It's a bit like when you're in your 30s and you want to build a family and you're waiting for that perfect time of, got to have the job sorted out, the house sorted out. Do you have all the plans, all the ducks in a row? And then suddenly you're in your late 30s and you're like, oh my God, am I like we waited too long now? The biological clock is like, the window is like super, super short. And you're thinking, okay, we need to do this now, right? We feel a bit the same way about our retirement right now. The same sentiment of urgency, like the time is running out. And we just don't want to waste our go-go years while we still have them.
Absolutely, and our conundrum is finding that balance because it's really, really important. When is a good plan? Is it good enough? When do I pull that trigger on retirement? Because I'll never be perfect.
Yeah,
you know that for sure.
I don't think so. So, and then when I think about it, like I can figure how I feel now, which I'm not saying like we're feeling exhausted, but we can feel that in 5-7 years it's definitely going to be different. So you're kind of going, okay, wow. So what do we do now? There's part of our brain that always felt like we were ageless and invincible forever. And now I think it's kicking in that, maybe we're not. And there's going to be like, it feels like now there's more of a tipping point, maybe because we're getting closer to 60, that it feels like time is speeding up.
Yeah.
And it's like we're not
since
sure.
50, actually, everything started
Yeah,
speeding
55 at least, And this is probably something we want to do now, like the whole retirement thing. We're definitely not eager to wait till 65. We're eager to try to do this in 27 while we're still capable and we still have our go-go years, and instead of waiting too long. So I wouldn't say it's exactly based on fear, but we're just paying more attention, and it's become almost like an existential question. When is the plan good enough while we're still young enough? It's to find that balance. It's become a bit more of it's definitely there.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, we can't say we've been sitting, we can't say that we've been sitting around not enjoying life.
No, true.
We actually have been really good at seizing the moment, especially over the last 8 years since we've been together.
Correct.
Lovely years. We've done Vietnam, we've done Indonesia, we've done Malaysia, multiple long trips to Canada, and we also drove a tuk-tuk around Sri Lanka, which was amazing, by the way. We had our share of good times, and we certainly have no regrets on our part.
Correct.
Yeah. So, it's not that we haven't lived. If anything, that's part of why we can't wait to get back into it.
Exactly.
But here's, to be honest, the part, because we were out there living, we didn't actually put as much into our retirement savings as we probably should have.
That's our list.
Yeah, and now the retirement is getting closer. We realized we actually need to put a little bit more effort into the savings side.
Better late than never.
Yeah, we're getting there, We're putting our hands in every little pot that we can. You know, that's created this big pull and tug and, you know, and all that. So one part of us wants to keep saving
Yeah.
and build more comfort into our
That's
plan, you know.
Yeah, it's honest.
And the other part says, screw it. Let's pull the trigger now. That's really where the tension is right now.
Yeah, like it's and that's fair enough. You know, like yeah,
Life.
It's exactly. So and that rounds up to another topic as well. It's like about our employment and our jobs, because that's what's generating a lot of the revenue right now. So there's a part of us that wants to keep working to put more in the pot. But honestly, our jobs, they're just fine. Nobody's yelling at us, or nobody's like, you know, it's not like a stressful jobs, and they're not terrible. They're just not really fulfilling us anymore. They're more just like, we're not burnt out. We're just like, yeah, we're just over it. Like going to work is not really fulfilling.
No.
And you just feel like you're a bit wasting your time and you're on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, sitting in a waiting room, you know. You're just waiting for your name to be called.
Yeah, your number.
And then you realize that there's this huge, long line of people waiting in front of you.
That's exactly how I feel
Oh my
most days
God.
when I go to work.
But I have to remind myself of this. Being over the job doesn't mean we're actually ready. You know,
True.
that's the problem. You know, another point about our good years is that the first years that you retire are probably going to be packed with a long list of things that we want to do.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Big trips.
Yeah.
More physical stuff. You know, things that feel like use it or lose it.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to be more intrepid when
Yeah,
we're like
absolutely,
still
you know.
capable of doing those
Yeah,
things.
we're not
So
going to
the
go
first,
up Everest or anything like that. Well, we might. You never know.
nah, but you know, the first few years we're definitely going to be
Yeah,
go, go, go.
Absolutely.
And
you
we
know.
don't want to do that too late.
Yeah, later years it'll be Uber. We want to do that stuff while we're able and capable. That's
Correct.
for sure.
Yeah.
And not wait until we're 75, because you know what? When you hit 75, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Well, we don't know how we're going to
Yeah.
be at 75, do
Yeah.
we? I mean, if we all had a crystal ball, I think none of this.
If we all had a
wouldn't-
crystal ball,
We wouldn't talk about this.
no.
We
that's
would just
right.
know
We'd be
that.
saving when we actually became a baby.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't know if you're going to be till 95. You might be in top shape, but what if we're not? We don't want to have regrets of not actually using those years while we could, right?
Yeah.
Because none of us actually know how long of our healthy years we still have ahead of us. I think that's the uncomfortable part. Is if we knew, we'd just like reverse engineer things, but because we don't, there's that sentiment of like, am I going to wait too long? So that window of being healthy could be 10 years, could be 20 years, but it could also close off next year.
Yeah.
You know, like how many friends have we had lately that have been diagnosed or something fatal
Illness or
happened,
something,
so
yeah.
you
It's
don't.
just-
That part is real as well. You know that window.
And I think when you know get into our age, we start to hear a lot more of that stuff as well. So so that speeds the whole process up and going like, oh, what are we waiting for, type thing. You know. So
Correct.
we can't control when that window closes. You know, that's the thing. You know, what we can control though is whether we walk through it with a plan that actually holds up, or when or one that we rush into because we felt unbearable and we couldn't handle it that week. You know,
Yeah.
it was just too much.
It's a bit more me.
Everything's
I
getting
get
on
emotional.
top.
I just
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to pull the plug.
But here's the other side of it. Some urgency is actually useful.
Hmm.
You know, it's really easy to say, we know when we're ready, or the next 15 years, you know, because there's always one more number to check off. Hey.
Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, we'll be ready. But
Yeah.
if you don't check, then you don't know.
Yeah.
And then suddenly.
Uh-oh.
The 15 years have gone by. I doubt it, but you never, like, you know, like you have to really reassess.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and the other thing is that plenty of people never retire, not because the numbers never worked, but they actually just kept double checking, triple checking things.
Or a lot of
You know?
people just say one more year.
Yeah, everyone does. You know, because my paycheck's good. You know, why
Yeah.
would I give it up? So it's not about getting rid of the pressure completely. It's using the urgency to finish the planning, not as an excuse to skip it. The tiredness is real.
Yes, for sure.
The waiting room feeling is real.
So much.
But those feelings are not the whole decision, you know?
And we haven't solved this. And so as you can tell while we're talking about it, like there's a real, it's a very real pull and tug, and but we think we've changed the question, and the question is a lot more like, how do we retire before we run out of time?
Yeah, I think there's lots of people that if you're watching this, you could probably say the same thing to yourself. You know, like,
Instead of that, yeah.
wow, they're hitting some things that I've been thinking about lately. So hopefully you've come along. You know, yeah. Instead of how do we retire before we run out of time, it's more like what actually has the truth. What has to be true financially before we do this? You know. No matter how we try, how tired or over it we feel that week, you know?
Yeah, well,
The tiredness, the lack of fulfillment at work, the feeling of the window shrinking, those are all real emotions. But it's those feelings that tell us to move faster on the planning.
yes, true. So if this is the kind of stuff that you also are thinking about and it's going through your head, you know, the retirement planning, how we going to travel, that window closing, keeping a home base, strategy and budgets, actually figuring things out in your next chapter, subscribe and follow with us how these things are going to work.
Because we're going to be documenting this in real life, not just talking about it.
And we're bringing you along with it, and we're going to tell you what works, what doesn't, and what may change our minds. So here's what we'd like to know for this particular video. Leave a comment, sorry, and tell us, do you feel your body or your energy is telling you this is the time, or are you just tired of your job? So if you know, we'd like to know.
We'd like to know
Yeah.
what you think about this.
So leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment. See you in the next one.
Good enough?